Hey guys, welcome to episode 50 of Slaaap Haaapy. Yes, that's right. I made it all the way to 50 episodes. I started this venture in around about October of 2020, somewhere around there. And look, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't have any goals for this thing. I kind of just wanted to start. I just wanted to, get it under my belt and just kind of like see where it went, really. It's taken some twists and turns. It's kind of been all over the place in terms of content and directive or direction. But I feel like I'm starting to kind of find my feet with it. I feel like I'm, after, making a few mistakes and kind of wasting, spending energy in the wrong places a couple of times, I feel like I'm starting to, find my feet, find my voice, and find my purpose with it. Not to say that everything that I haven't done up until this point hasn't been valuable and relevant. It has, but I just feel like this is a lot closer to me and who I am and who I'm meant to be. And that is talking about music and the music industry and serving, this thing that I love, music and hip hop, especially in this country. So thank you for everyone who's still riding with me. It's been a hell of a journey so far. And I feel like we're only getting started, man. So fucking let's go. Episode 50 is this one, and it is a conversation that I had very recently last week with a gentleman named Rob Carroll. And Rob is many things, but amongst them, he's the managing director of a Sydney-based label services company called Good Intent. Also the manager of a whole bunch of bands, including Bootleg Rascal. He is, he's been involved in the music industry for like 15, 20 years or so. He's from the Central Coast where I grew up. And I've had a little bit to do with Rob over the years, but we've always stayed in contact to some extent, either through music or our love of the mighty Parramatta Eels, of which he runs a Parramatta like fan group that I'm in. And so we kind of always get to interact about Parramatta and how they're going to win the comp. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to be talking about, in this conversation, we talk about a whole bunch of stuff, music industry, obviously, his company, Good Intent, and what they do, which includes like PR, label services, and management. We talk about how that's segmented and how kind of they operate on a day-to-day basis. We talk a lot about mental health, his journey recently with mental health, and how he is tackling it and tools that he's using. We talk about, obviously, mental health within the music industry and just how it's not spoken about enough. And obviously we talk about the mighty Parramatta Eels, although not that much. Anyway, this is my conversation with Rob Carroll, episode 50 of Slaaap Haaapy. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for riding with me. If you like this episode or this conversation, please like the video or subscribe to the podcast. And please do leave a comment or a review with any question, comment, or concern, and I'll get back to you ASAP. Anyway, here's my conversation with Good Intents and Parramatta's finest, Rob Carroll. And we're live. And we're live for another episode of Slaaap Haaapy. Let a bug hit windshield, scrape those off. My team running up big hills, they won't stop. That's right, people. We're here. Like this all day. We're doing it. This is a Slaaap Haaapy podcast. I'm your host, Civilian. And today I'm here with Rob Carroll. Rob, how you doing?
Good, mate. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. No. Thanks for having me.
All right. Yeah, a couple of little technical difficulties to kick off the night.
Yeah, it was a bit shaky, but we got. I'm actually really glad that we could get here because not only because I just wanted to speak to you in general, but just because of like where I'm at with the podcasting stuff, and I think I'm starting to pick up a little bit of momentum with it, and
awesome.
And I think it's kind of carving out a nice direction for itself, and I just feel like, especially after the conversation I had last week with a guy, which I just got uploaded tonight. He's a rapper from Melbourne. And one of the things that we spoke about was like, when you first start as a musician, like you don't know anyone, you don't know where to turn to. Like it's this big fucking scary kind of abyss, Obviously the internet makes it a little bit easier if you're smart enough, you go digging. But, generally speaking, you don't really know how to talk to people. You don't really know what to say. Like I basically, I recounted a story about, do you know Joyride from Horror Show?
Yeah.
So I recounted a story when I first started rapping. I moved to Newtown and I went to this show that 360 was playing and Joyride was at the show and he come off stage and I walk over to him And I tap his shoulder and I'm like, hey, mate, just wondering, like, are you at the stage in your career where you're like charging people for like, for singing and stuff? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And I was like, literally, I was there by myself. Like, I didn't know anyone. I literally had no connection to a scene. It was like, yeah, look, obviously I was a bit too, ambitious or a little bit too, I was a bit silly with that. But yeah, anyway, my point is that, yeah, when you're first starting, it's really hard to know kind of where to go for these things. So that's why I was really, really keen to speak to you about some of this stuff. So I hope that's okay if we dig into that today.
Oh, absolutely. Like that's, I was that guy once upon a time, you know what I mean? Where, pissed off a lot of people in my time and I still do. But I think there's also something to be said about, being yourself and I think like at the end of the day, as long as you do things right and you make some kind of positive contribution to your scene and your community, once you kind of find what that is, which, yeah, again, like you said, we'll go into that. I think it's one thing I've learned over the years is never sell yourself short of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, just authenticity is so bloody important, and that's one thing that I've prided myself on, especially the last couple of years, because I think I'm quite the interesting character, like especially like with my internet persona and whatever, and it gets a lot of people aside. And you know what? At the end of the day, though, I've got my tribe, and there are people that believe in it, and I just say lean into it, and as long as you're being a good person or being the best person you can, and trying to make a positive contribution to your community, then that's all you can ask. You're never going to have everyone like you, so find your tribe and stick with it.
Yeah, totally. Well, so how long have you been in the quote unquote music industry?
Well, I started off playing in bands in high school, and then I guess once high school finished, I was kind of a little bit like lost in what I wanted to do in life. Like I guess I ended up doing an apprenticeship just because that's what you do when you live on the Central Coast, isn't it? It's like, oh, you get a trade, So and I never really had any desire to go to uni or anything like that. So yeah, I was just a little bit lost, and I was in a pub one day and I ran into one of my old schoolmates, and he said, "Hey, you still playing music?" And I'm like, "Oh, every now and again." So come down and have a jam with us. So and yeah, like I would have been about 18 or 19 then, and basically like from that point there was like a punk screamo band that I was playing in, and we got out there and we hustled and got to do some pretty cool supports and tours and whatever, and moving on from that, then I played in a couple more indie rock bands moving along, and also same kind of thing, got to play some cool festivals, got on some really good tours, and I think, but by the time I kind of reached my mid-20s, I think I kind of got to this point where, I had this like real DIY ethos behind me, where I was just putting on, my own shows and to help out.
So you were doing a bit of the promo and stuff.
Yeah. So, and then it just kind of naturally gravitated towards me, like electing to take this pathway of just focusing purely on the business side of things, because I felt like that was it's probably a little bit more of a sure thing at the time. The problem is when you're playing in a band with other people, like everyone's got their own agenda and their own vision and what they want to do. And I guess like I never just found that band that ever wanted to really knuckle down and go for it and try and make a real career of it. So I think that was like part of the attraction to the business side. I was like, well, hang on, the only person that can fuck this up is me. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
So
that's a good point.
It's kind of relying on like this unit. And I think a lot of musicians probably relate to that, like when they go through these bands, like the ones that, really want to make a career out of it, like, on a commercial level, like they I think a lot of the time it's just sort of the letdowns are that, sometimes the other people that are in the group with you that may have different ambitions, and maybe not
totally
as ambitious as you. So that was kind of like around that at age 25. I started working with Steve Sewell from Kingdom Sounds. Like we had a couple little projects together that we were doing. I was namely touring and marketing, and I also ended up buying his old recording and rehearsal studio on the Central Coast, ECP Studios. So once I did that and started really getting some stuff happening with Steve, that's when I kind of realized, oh, you know what, I want to do this for the rest of my life. This is my calling. This is what I'm about. And
Yep.
And yeah, like, I think I took that leap when I was around that 25, 26 years old, to going full-time music, just doing my own thing. Many, many failures, many, many successes on a micro level, but many, many failures. And we'll get back to that in a second. But and why that's good. But yeah, basically, the timeline as it proceeds, like I quite fortuitously ended up in an event. It was an ARIA event, actually, like one of the partner ones, and it was for Chugg Entertainment and at the time Drum Media, the old
Drum Media. They did the mags, the
right,
magazines and stuff.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then rebranded to the music as they are today.
Yep.
And but yeah, basically, I was at this party, and out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, "Holy shit, that's Michael Chugg!" And and I was half full of piss, and I thought, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna walk up and shake this guy's hand because he's a mad dog." Like, so yeah. Anyway, I'm just like, stroll up, like, one of the world's greatest promoters, and half cut, just like, "Hey, mate, I just want to shake your hand because I think you're a legend." And he goes, "Well, what's your name, son?" And I said, "Oh, what do you do, Rob?" And I told him like about all the shit I was doing. He goes, "Well, I want you to book me band line Cordiale." And this is going back to like 2013 or 2014. And like Chuggy from day one, like, you got to pay the guy, man. Like when he really wants to get behind something, he believes in it, he gets behind it. And he,
wow.
And so he was with Lime in those early stages of career where, no one really cared too much about them. And it was there on the cell. And anyway, so we got chatting a little bit, exchanged details, gave me his business card, introduced me to the head of Chugg Music, the management division, Andrew Stone. I kept in touch with Michael and Andrew over the next couple of months, and eventually I said, "Come in and do a couple of days, and we'll see how things go." And the rest of the history, like 4 years on. From that day, I was ended up being running a subsidiary agency and label for them called Rare Finds, which was like a dedicated artist discovery platform, and really focus on helping developing acts and on the promo side of things. But also we ended up, I don't know if you remember the club night parties that we used to do in Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane.
They ring a bell.
The sense of artist discovery, but just on that live level. Trying to emulate the spirit, I guess, of nights like Purple Sneakers and Hot Damn, but with that kind of cross-genre focus. So, and we had some really good acts come through those nights. We gave artists like Polish Club and Winston Surfshirt and that opening spots, and
oh wow,
and the list goes on. We had Alex Leahy, Ocean Alley, even at the last tour I did before I left was Genesis Owusu, actually gave him his first tour. So
wow,
pretty cool. So this is
it's a nice little kind of like breeding spot for
which
future music talent.
Yeah, which I think is super important. And definitely something I want to revisit one day. But yeah, obviously COVID's kind of thrown a spanner in the works the last couple of years. So, but now's the time to start thinking about that stuff, But basically, my whole, kind of passion for it all lies in the fact that, it's for artists, like one of the hardest things, to kind of get happening from the get-go is to get people in a room, and the right kind of people to stand and watch your music and be able to have the opportunity to convert them into fans. Like it's with a bit of PR and whatever, or even like DIY efforts, you can get on radio and you can get on blogs, and, you can set up like ads and like do all this, amazing stuff, like especially like how the online platform is today. But, one of the trickiest things is to get people to hand over their hard-earned cash to come in and stand in front of you that aren't your friends or your family, and to
totally
what they're seeing, and be able to like how do you get them there? And the good thing about Rare Finds was, and what we're doing was, we're fostering a scene, and we had this ready-made crowd of all these like kids that were just absolute frothers for artist discovery. And as I said, like, because we had such an impressive list of names that were coming through, there wasn't long before that you'd start to have people from Triple J and Spotify coming down, and like every booking agent in the country like just coming there to see these acts like for the first time in a live setting, which is really exciting. So So yeah, that's definitely something I want to revisit one day. But anyway, I'll get on a bloody.
And what time when was that the rare find stuff? That was
so I launched that in, I think it was 2015. I think I launched it.
Yeah, okay.
And then it ran until I finished up at Chugg, which would have been around mid 2018. And so and then from like I said, I had a brilliant time working at Chugg, but I felt like it was just time to go back out and do my own thing again. I'm fiercely independent, and I think it's the punk rocker in me where it's just I love like kind of doing things my way and a bit anti-authority. But no, like honestly, like working at Chugg was one of the best experiences of my life, and absolute brilliant bunch of people. And but yeah, just I kind of felt like it was just the right time to go out and do my own thing again, and whatever. And I'm glad I did. And so that's what led me to launching Good Intent in mid 2018. I think the Monday I started, like the Friday just before I just finished at Chugg, so I was wasting no time. I was straight into it. And after a couple of months of kind of getting all the ducks in a row, then I launched in a public facing capacity in September 2018 at Big Sound in a barbershop. I hired out a barbershop.
Oh, damn. For like a little launch event?
Yeah, launch party. So I had Hey Geronimo, who were a PR client at the time. They did their album listening party that night too. It was like a bit of a collab between the Good Intent launch and their performance for launching their second album.
Awesome.
And then who did I have DJ? I had a couple of mates DJ. I swear I had an artist DJ. It doesn't matter. But anyway, and so yeah, like
was it Good Intent initially just yourself?
Yeah, it was just myself, and I had one of the interns from. Sorry, apologies. I live in the inner west, and I'm right in the middle of the flight path. So if you hear those planes, that's what that is, and that'll.
Totally fine. If you hear my dog, that's a dog.
There you go. A bit of ambience. It's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Good Intent was just me at the start. I had one of my interns from Chugg who just started, like Chugg Rare Finds, come over with me. And his name's Nick Moran. And he's still with me to this day. And such a beautiful story. He started off as an intern, then gradually worked his way up to assistant coordinator, then PR manager, and now he's my business partner. So
for Good Intent, that was his trajectory.
Yeah, that was
intern. Cool.
Right from the grassroots of it all. So
awesome.
I want to keep good people around. So if it's giving them some slice of the pie, I don't mind. It's just the priority.
Well, just like you said earlier, that tribe. When you find that tribe, like finding those right people, and finding a way to kind of grow together. Like,
absolutely, man. And at the end of the day,
you want to add value to them as well.
Yeah, hundo. And like at the end of the day too, it's just like, I'd rather share a much bigger pie than try and hold on to this little pie myself. You know what I mean? So
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's good. And but yeah, basically here I am at the Good Intent. We survived a global pandemic, which is wild. We again very fortunate in the fact that the business model isn't entirely reliant on the live sector. So just for context, we are a artist services agency, which essentially oversees our artist management and PR and label services. So with the artist management, obviously we're heavily dependent on our artists out there touring to make any kind of decent money out of it. But then obviously the PR label services side's digitally based work for the most part. So like that was a thing that kind of got us through COVID, was just being able to lean on that. And saying that though, there definitely was like a considerable drop in business during COVID, but still just fortunate enough that we worked hard enough as well that throughout the COVID period we were able to just be able to keep the gas on just from that digitally based work. So everyone worked their bloody hearts out as well. Like we all definitely spinning plates and putting in the extra hours to make it work. But feel very fortunate that we were able to get through it all. And even now, like the people aren't coming to shows as much as what they used to, but it'll get back there. But it's still a lot better than what it ever was. And there's a lot more confidence in the market, so people are starting to spend more money on the PR marketing side as well. So we're through the worst of it, I hope.
Yeah.
And it's almost
Cross everything.
So yeah, we'll see how we go, eh? But no, so far it looks like we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, eh?
Do you think that like how much off are the show numbers at this stage? Do you think from like kind of the heights of like just pre-pandemic to right now?
I think there's
Capacity, like
about a 30% reduction in like ticket sales.
okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're experiencing. And I've talked to a lot of promoters and agents and other managers and even artists, and they're all feeling the same. Like even like, I caught up with a manager from a bigger management company the other week who look after some of the bigger acts in the country, and they said, yeah, even some of their like flagship artists, like the real big ones, they're feeling
some of the big dogs.
Because I think, like, here's the thing, like, and understandably so, like, there's a lack of consumer confidence. Like, people
Totally.
bloody
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
But it's not just solely that. Like, I think there's also the fact that some people are still scared to go out, like, because, COVID is a real thing, and it's going to be a thing for ages. But, some people are, compromised. But there's also people's financial situations haven't returned to what, where it should be for them. So, the last thing on their priority list is going out to see a bloody rock concert, isn't it? So
yeah.
And what else? Like, I just think also people's habits have changed considerably. Like, I even guilty myself of, like, going out sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to go out. I just want to stay home and watch Netflix. But that can do with old age as well, So, but you know what I mean. So there's a myriad of challenges there that we have to face. But saying that, I think we'll see it go back to what it was pre-pandemic soon enough. I reckon probably by the end of this year we'll be fairly close to it. But yeah, I think Oh, and also the other thing too, the oversaturation of gigs. Like there's a lot of
everyone's trying to cram their shows in.
Yeah, exactly. Like consumers are spoilt for choice. So but again, I think everything will eventually go back to some kind of normality, and we'll be fine. But look, we're still, even with the ticket sales down as much as what they are, it's still we're in a much better position than what we have been in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So it's good.
Do you mean for the business? Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Or just the music industry?
Well, I mean, like, definitely for us. I can't speak for the rest of the industry, but I'd say that they'd probably be in a similar situation as to me. Like, like doing some shows with a good level of certainty is better than doing none, or like not having that certainty there. So
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think
70% of something's better than 0% or
of nothing. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, and God, I don't miss rescheduling tours. I can tell you that much.
Was there how much of that happened?
I know. Well, earlier this year, like I think I got up to my 6th tour reschedule with Bootleg Rascal and FANGZ.
Holy shit!
Oh man, I had a mental breakdown, like legit. Like which was kind of, in a way, I mean, it was horrible what happened. Like it was a very public mental breakdown. Like, but luckily enough, it was around friends and they were very caring and understanding or whatever. But yeah, basically, it was kind of the catalyst for change for me as well. Like one thing that I'm passionate about and I speak openly about is mental health. And so I think, like, it needs to be normalized. Like I've actually got another artist who have just withdrawn from a tour that they were supposed to be doing throughout May. And they were, I'm very proud of the singer. Like he was very open about the fact that it was due to mental health issues. And I thought, that's awesome. Like, we need to start really normalizing mental health issues. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's one of the biggest problems is that, like, and it's counterproductive to having good mental health is actually getting out there and having a healthy dialogue about it and seeking the help you need, because people are too worried that, like, they're going to be seen as weak. You're like, and I've personally been guilty of that as well at some stages. I'm like, fuck, like, are people going to, like, turn around and be like, I don't want to work with that guy. He's crazy enough as it is. Like, fucking,
It probably doesn't help. Probably doesn't help where we come from as well. Like, growing up on the coast, like, there's probably a little bit of a harder edge I mean, I don't even know if you grew up on the coast. That's just me assuming. Did you grow up on the coast?
Yeah, I'm a coastie through and through.
Yeah, hectic. Yeah, well, through and through, but not so through anymore. But yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of that on the coast where it's like there's a harder kind of exterior to living there. You know, like traditional kind of blue collar. You know, suburbs and you know everyone plays footy, goes to the pub, and you know all the men are just blokes and there's just a kind of non-acceptance of talking about that kind of stuff. So you don't really grow up with it, or you don't really see it around. Just the openness about it.
I think it's a generation
creates a bit of
too, you know, because I will say that, you know, we're heading in the right direction, but I think it's still, I think, you know, it's interesting. I have conversations with some of my older friends, like, you know, in the 50s or even late 40s and older. And like, you know, some of them are like, give the most, you know, God love them, are really good friends of mine, but give the worst advice. They're like, oh, you don't need to do any of that shit. I'm like, what? Like, dude,
that's horrible advice.
I know, it's absolutely horrible. But yeah, you know, so I think it's a generational thing too, and cultural thing too. But it's you know, but yeah, there definitely needs to be more people out there talking about it. But yeah, back to what was happening with me. I think it was a bit of a slow decline in the sense that I was self-medicating a lot over COVID. I mean, like everyone knows, and I'm very vocal about how much I enjoy a drink and a bit of a party, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all if it's you know, done responsibly. But yeah, I think the problem was with me that I was muddying the waters of you know, drinking and, you know, and doing drugs for social needs, and then also for self-medication, and that's a problem, you know, when you start to blur the lines a little bit, and that was the thing, you know, like as someone that always, like, you know, practices, you know, preaches, you know, mental health and, like, you know, go see someone who need help. I was actually being quite a hypocrite in the sense that I wasn't doing it for myself. I was just like, you know, but I think I was also quite, what's a word, just subconsciously doing it. You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, yeah, cool, like whatever. And like
pretty easy to excuse it as well during COVID. You know, like, you know, there's no reason not to. You know, and then where do you go for help?
Sitting around, lantern. Fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Where do you go for your help? Like, a lot of the psychologists and the psychiatrists and stuff were like fully booked up, and you know, some of them weren't even open. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I don't blame you for it. You know, kind of sneaking up. Yeah. You know, it's very easy to kind of like miss some of the signs and kind of figure out exactly where you're at with it. Yeah. So,
but go on. Oh, you're right. But no, you're dead right. And the thing is that, like basically I, like just kind of hit this like wall, and like I was just like, holy shit, like I really need to go and do something about this, because I can't put my friends or family or whoever it is around me through this. And I owe it to them, but also myself too, to go get the proper help that I need. So I got on the phone with Support Act and had a chat with one of the counsellors there. And to be honest, like the first lady I spoke to, I didn't really find her, I don't know, didn't really connect. And I think that's one thing that we need to understand. A lot of people probably do, but a lot of people may not, is the fact that, you know, sometimes it takes up to, you know, bloody 10 or even 20 like psychologists to find the one that you connect with. You know what I mean? Sometimes you can be really lucky.
I agree with that so much.
Off the mark and pretty quickly, which I ended up being. But yeah, the first one that I'd spoke to at Support Act didn't really like feel who I was talking to, but like, you know, I'm sure it was some other people, but we just didn't click, and that's fine. And then I just told her that. I was really honest. I said, but thanks so much, really appreciate it all. And I was going to have another call with them, but I ended up going to my GP about something else, about an injury. And then while I was there, I started asking him about the mental health care plan, or maybe
care plan. Yep.
Where the government subsidizes, you know, X amount of
up to 10 appointments.
Yeah. So, geez, you know more about it than me. But yeah, that's the thing.
I did it last year as well.
Yeah, and so I've been seeing old mate up at like the local doctors that I go to. They've got an in-house psychologist, and so I started seeing him, and he was a legend, and we just got on real well. So I was really lucky in that sense that it was like the second person I was talking to that I kind of click with. And I've been
amazing.
like every fortnight now, and I think for the biggest part, like it's a lot of the stuff that we talk about, shit that like it feels like a lot of it's common sense, but I think it's nice having someone there to just even talk to about it, like
Yep.
and just having that accountability as well, like in a good way, But yeah, he's the doctor that I see, he's a psychologist. He's really good. Like he basically gets me to like make the calls and like and come up with the what the solution is. It's not kind of like what he says. It's like kind of like I guess he's just there to kind of guide me, and it's
right. He guides you to the kind of in the direction, and then you pick the outcome.
Yeah, exactly, which is cool. So but yeah, like and this it was good because there's a lot of stuff to unpack, and I think one of the things that I needed to really address obviously was this substance abuse, and I've got a pretty good handle on that these days. Like, don't get me wrong, man, I still go out there and party, and I always will. Like, that's who I am, a party guy. You know what I mean? But the thing is, if I'm doing it for social needs and I'm doing it like responsibly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that my problem was for me was I was doing it for the self-medication side. So it was about like, making sure that like I was aware of why I was drinking. Why am I racking up? Why am I doing this shit? You know what I mean? Is it fun? Is it or am I doing this because I'm like in a bad place? Like, so I've cut that shit out, and that's really cool. And also like one thing that I wanted to do was focus more on my physical health, because good physical health like works into good mental health, right? It's like
massive. Yep. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, as you know, I'm a big rugby league fan, and we both back the mighty Eels. And
that's right. You're back on the horse, aren't you?
That's right. I mean, yeah, geez. I was going to say,
how's it been going?
I was going to say we're not going to talk about what happened on the weekend with the Parramatta Eels, but
no, we're not going to talk about that.
We're going to talk about me and my playing. So
your comeback story.
So one of the things I wanted to do was get fit, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do team sport because there's more accountability in it. You know what I mean? If I go join a gym, I'll last 2 weeks, and then I won't go for the rest of the year. And like, you know what I mean? So, but if I join a rugby league team, which I love rugby league, and I used to play growing up, there will be that accountability factor there. I don't want to let down the boys. You know what I mean? So yeah,
that's a good call.
Yeah. So I joined the Alexandria Rovers, and big shout out to the boys.
Shout out the Rovers.
Yes. Up the Rovers. Yeah. And basically, I had my first game back in 17 years on Sunday.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, man. That was good, eh? And I had an absolute ball. I'm sore as shit now. I'm oh, wow, that's right. Because I'm 36, going on 37 this year. And I mean, I'm running into like jacked fucking 25-year-old Polynesians, man. And it fucking... As it turns out, it hurts.
I couldn't have imagined.
Right? No, but, the adrenaline rush, man. And, just like, oh, dude, there's something like, here's the thing I was talking about one of the boys about. There's something really satisfying about that, it fulfills that primal instinct of like masculinity, like, and of running into these blokes and just...
getting the energy out
and dirty and just being a man, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
It's cool. So but you know what I mean? Like with rugby league, there's such a beautiful culture around it. I mean, there's some problematic shit as well, but for the most part, like it's a simple game, but a complex lifestyle, as one of my teammates always says, old Andy. So hello, Andy. But yeah, like basically. I think there's so much good to take away from doing a team sport like rugby league, because it's not only out there like running and getting those endorphins going, you're feeling good, because if you're looking after your body, your head feels good, man. You know what I mean? You feel good about
100%.
It. Activates those endorphins. You're like, yeah, fuck yeah, this is sick. But also the culture that exists around it, man. Like, all the boys, like they're all got a story to tell. And I've made some really good friends who I think are going to be mates for my life. And even if I don't play next year, which is probably a good idea, because I'll be 38 next year. But there's a huge desire for me to get involved with a club like off the field as well. You know what I mean? And that,
Yeah, totally.
Talking to the club president recently, he said, it's something they can definitely do with some help. But yeah, basically it's creating that culture and fostering that and being a part of that and the community. Like there's so much like value in that for satisfying the needs of mental health as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Sense of belonging.
How did you go on the weekend?
We won.
You had a win?
28-16, I think it was. And
did you bring back the biff?
No, I didn't think it'd be a good idea with these dudes because they'd probably more so bring it back with me. I'd focus on playing footy, man. That's what I'm there for. But if I was gonna go like want to punch on, I'd probably go take up boxing or MMA. But I'm pretty keen just to play rugby league. So the big
just go to Pulse.
That's another option.
I got no idea. Last time I checked, it was, but who knows? Pretty much any venue on the coast, if you wanted to just go punching on, you could just pick a venue.
Yeah, that's true.
Go to Terrigal Beery.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard, that's for sure. That's been a really, really cool thing for me this year is lacing back the boots, can't get my bloody words together. Lacing up the boots again. Just getting out there and working on my fitness. And
the camaraderie of it all as well.
Camaraderie, yeah. Because I think like one thing that you lose as you get older is you lose touch with your friends and like your tribe and your people. You know what I mean? This is something we were talking about last night. Actually, when we were at the pub after the game, and I stupidly drank 20 schooners of beer, and I'm paying for that. We're talking about as you get older, especially men, like that you need your tribe, you need your sense of belonging, and that's something that you lose as you get older, just naturally. You know what I mean? Like, everyone gets busy with work and family and all that kind of shit, and so to have something there like that to lean on is super important. Something that I think it's good. It's nice to have that separation as well, because here's the thing, man. Like I'm an absolute workaholic when it comes to the music industry, and sometimes it's easy to get obsessive for me anyway. So to have some kind of point of separation to music, it's actually nice. Because then I come back to music and refreshed, and I'm not running the risk of burning myself out as much. You know what I mean? So
no, I totally agree. That's very important. And I think just that ability to reset, and also you'll find that your ideas will probably they'll grow even in that time, because you won't be so focused on, I don't know, the details and kind of like getting caught up on things. You might find that these things kind of like develop a little bit more naturally now that you're giving your brain the room to actually think about them subconsciously, maybe.
100%, man. Yeah.
Which is
reset of the brain. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So how long's it been since you have been going to psychologists, and kind of like since you've basically taken this turn to like looking after your mental health a little bit more accurately?
I'd say it was probably late January, early February that I kicked it off. I haven't been for a couple of weeks because I was just away on holidays in Queensland, bit of a working holiday. I've been like pretty much started off weekly. And then when we kind of got to the point where my psychologist was satisfied with the progress I was making, we just pulled it back to a fortnightly schedule, which was good too, because now I've kind of got like a nice little routine throughout the week where, Tuesdays and Thursdays is footy training. And then, one Wednesdays of week one is seeing a psychologist. And then on the following Wednesday, like the week B or whatever you want to call it, that's when I go see my masseuse. And it's kind of like a nice self-care thing to do where, I mean, most people love a massage, don't they? But this lady is amazing. She does like remedial hot stone and like Reiki and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Not the old banana massage, none of that shit.
The good stuff, the real stuff.
So that's cool. And so that's been another good part of it too. It's just like making sure
getting that structure.
Exactly. Like, a bit of more
important.
So and just having that there, like where it's just like, like I need to stop work and I'm gonna go do this for myself and fulfill these needs of my life and what I need there. That's been like an incredible thing to kind of just carve out that work-life balance Otherwise, yeah, you're just going to end up burning yourself out. You know what I mean? And I think that's the other thing that's probably something that I've learned over the last few years is just not to glorify overworking. You know what I mean? It's like, I think I used to do that. Well, I definitely used to do that, but now it's like, nah, need to make sure we have a level of awareness of when it's time to kind of clock off and be like, nah, enough's enough. Like, I got to look after it. Because if I don't and I burn out, well, then there's no work's going to get done anyway, isn't it? You know?
And also just enjoying now, like, you know, because I just feel like whether you're working, look, and like we all love a good one, right? Especially, you know, when you're out with your mates and you're fucking really getting on it and you're really going hard, like that's great. But the reality is you're not going to remember like 60% of those nights. Like there'll be like flashes and moments that you'll hang on to and be like, oh man, I loved that dumb thing that we did together. I love that show that we did. I loved it when we, you know, stuck in that past the coppers over there and whatever. You got all these like flashes of moments, but in reality, there's a lot of blank spots. Whereas if you're kind of like, so you got that side of things where it's like those nights out, flashes of brilliance, but also a lot of black spots. And then you got the workaholic mindset where you're like single track, like work. There's not, between those two things, there's not a lot of room to actually smell the roses. You know, there's not a lot of room to just like sit with someone and genuinely enjoy their company without alcohol or drugs. Or, you know, there's not a lot of room to like genuinely just like look up at the sunset and just be like, you know what I mean? Yeah, because 100%. It's just this like go energy that we kind of like seem to live by.
So yeah,
totally.
I mean, it's you can do it for so long, but yeah, it's certainly not sustainable. Like it's just it's all going to come to a grinding halt one day, and it's usually pretty ugly when it does, you know. So it was from my experience anyway. So no, you're dead right, man.
I think like even though you have probably had this like element of like, you know, not really getting the work-life balance 100% right, you're still young enough to like figure it out now. Like you'd much rather do it now and learn that you can live the next 30, 40 years with actually some pretty good balance and enjoy life whilst getting your work done, rather than get to 70 and be like, holy fuck, where did the last 70 years go?
Yeah, no, 100%, man. And it's just about like, you know, because when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be thinking about like, oh, remember that all that time that I did all that work? How good was that? Like you're going to be thinking about like all those moments of like your loved ones, you know, your family, your friends, and just like you said, man, just being able to stop and smell the roses, like to really look around and admire what the world has to offer. Like, I think if there's anything that's a takeaway from this, it's to work smart, not hard. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And also just admire how far you've come. Like, you know, you said something before about how, you know, you thank your friends and family for the kind of wake up call in regards to like, you know, the change that you've made recently, but you also said thank you to yourself. And I think, you know, that's important too. Like, absolutely, you've got to have those moments where you can stop and look at yourself and go, fuck, man, I can't believe I did that. I'm so happy that I did that. I'm so glad that I've come this, you know, far, or this path, because I could have easily have gone some other fucking really horrible path. Yeah.
So
good on you.
Tough time, man. Like, and I hope that everyone out there has kind of, you know, I guess come out the other side for the better. Because it was like, you know, mental health like issues were just bloody, you know, crazy like throughout the last year. You know, like people that I know too that have had their struggles, and but and like, fortunately enough, like a lot of the people close to me have also, I guess, kind of found like their positive outcomes to it, and like kind of, you know, so but like I think it's a nice wake up call too for the government to you know, maybe acknowledge the fact that we probably do need a little bit more support with our, you know, mental health across the nation, like in terms of you know, funding into it, because man, like I said, like it's I think it's only now that we're starting to really acknowledge it and give it the attention it deserves. Still a lot of work to do, but you know, I think it's heading in the right direction. I hope it continues to do that.
Oh, absolutely. I actually I think at the end of 2020, I went and got on an antidepressant called Sertraline, because I basically, my anxiety got to the point because I'm down in Melbourne at the moment, and during that real harsh lockdown at the end of 2020, I got to the point where my entire body was just like, you know, kind of shaking, and just the physical reactions that I was having on a daily basis were just over the top. So I just pulled the trigger, went to the local GP and just got on Sertraline, and I was like,
awesome, man.
Because I like got to this point where I'm like, look, I'm 34 or 33. I'm like not getting any younger. And, you know, some of the same patterns have been repeating throughout my entire life, you know, maybe an overindulgence in certain things, maybe, you know, leaning on certain things here and there, and not accepting responsibility for the day to day, where I just thought, fuck, enough's enough. I need to take control over my life. I need to be in control over my emotions and not my emotions being in control over me. And if I had to do something different, fuck it, you know, I'll do something different. And I did that. And I'm very thankful for it. Like, obviously that's not a path that everyone has to take, you know, but it's a path that I took, and I'm really, really glad that I had the courage to do it, because I think previously I hadn't thought that it was like a smart thing to do. But yeah, whatever you need to get over that little hump, take it.
Yeah. So what's sorry, it's just while I was listening to that, I was looking up that famous Einstein quote: insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And like,
totally,
you know, it can't sing truer, can it? You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like when you reach that kind of crossroads, like, well, you know, something's not going to quite working. You got to try something different, you know? So good on you, man, for doing that. It's amazing. And like, have you found that that's made a tremendous difference with just the medication itself, or are there other things that you've been doing?
I've been doing heaps of other stuff, yeah, but that in itself has just kind of it's kind of, do you know what I equate it to? So like when you're at the gym and you're doing like a bench press or something, and you get into the, like, you know, the 9th kind of press of the 3rd set, and you just need that little like tap at the end there to get it over the bar. That's what I kind of feel like it is. It's just that little like tap, you know, and it's like, you know, whereas like my kind of mood swings and my daily emotional range might be like this in the past. Now it's kind of like, you know, this. It's just kind of like, you know, bringing everything just a little bit closer together, just giving me that little extra, you know, help. But no, it's definitely physical exercise has been one thing that I've absolutely gone hard on this year. Nice. And I'm starting to see huge leaps forward in terms of not only my physical appearance, but just how I feel about myself. Like, you know, just kind of getting a little bit more control over how I feel about myself. Yeah, nice. I actually think, physical exercise is number one. Yeah. That if you can just at least, if you can just have that in your day, massive. So yeah, I think if you just like, I'm really happy for you. I didn't think we were going to talk about all this shit, but like, I'm like super. Yeah, I'm super happy for you, because I know exactly, you know, obviously I don't know exactly, but I know a lot of what you're saying, what you're talking about, and what you've discovered in these last couple of months, and kind of the change that it's bringing to your life. I kind of get a sense of like, you know, how much it means to you right now. And yeah, it's cool.
One thing that we've always been passionate about, we've now at Good Intent as well, is making sure that our staff, you know, they do have the ability to have, you know, access to all the help that they need. You know, making sure that not just they're across, you know, Support Act and things like that, but just support from us as peers. But also, you know, making sure that like we, you know, if they need anything like, you know, taking time off, or like we do this thing where we have 2 mental health days a month. So basically, if you,
I love that,
like kind of just want to tap out, like you're not feeling it, like, because, you know, you just need that day to yourself, then, you know, on top of all, you know, these standard like entitlements that they get with leave and sick days, like we give that to them on top, just because
I love that.
You know, it's important, man. Like, you know, like, and we need it. You know, end of the day, it's a smart business decision, aside from it just being a nice thing to do because, you know, it's good to be a nice person. It's actually a smart business decision because, man,
100%.
If you look after your staff and that they know that they're appreciated and you love and care about them, which I do, because they're
supported as well.
They're going to keep coming back. You know,
totally.
What I mean? Like, our staff turnover is like non-existent. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, we're only a small business of a small team, but still, for the most part, like, you know, for the 4 years that we've been around, everyone that's come to work, I think there's only one person that's had to move on, and that was because they weren't getting enough work, because we did have to scale back during lockdown. But aside from that, you know, we've managed to hang on to everyone because we've got that great
culture. Created a good environment.
Yeah. And and there's also, throughout the day, like, we've got heaps of recreational facilities in our office as well, where, we'll go play, like we play chess quite a lot. We play table tennis. We've got like video games. We've got like pool table, like just all this like cool shit. And like I said, though, man, it's like, we're not there to kind of employ people on attendance. We're just there to make sure that, hey, like, do you care about music? Are you passionate about, doing the best that you can for artists? And do you want to, just be a fucking legend and hang out with other people that are, like-minded? And sweet. And that's, get the job done, sweet. You want to leave early, go for it. Like, do whatever you want, just make sure the work's done. But, if you do need time off and, for yourself to look after yourself, even if you just want to take a day off to go like sort out personal errands, like, you got to go fucking pay bills or do whatever the fuck you need, go look at that new house or whatever, like, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, we're there.
Love it.
So it's funny though, when you treat people good, you get so much back from them, it's crazy, eh?
It's crazy how little that is kind of recognized in our world, like it's actually, and do you know what? I've always seen it as a bit of a selfish thing, like personally, because I actually feel I like get on my high horse, even if no one knows I've done a good deed. I get on my high horse about like how good of a person I am, and I feel good about it. So like, I don't need recognition from anybody for doing something good. Like, I feel good enough about being good, know?
Yeah. Oh, look, man.
And you make the world a better place at the same time. Like, it should be just a win-win. You just shouldn't have to share it. You shouldn't have to let everyone know about how good you're being. It should just be like, I feel good about being good and I make the world a better place.
Yeah. Otherwise, if you're not doing all those things and you're not like doing, especially like for artists, if like, you hear some horror stories of artists that come to us from, working with other people, and you're just like, man, like, I honestly couldn't sleep at night knowing that like I, took an artist's money and didn't like do 110% for them. You know what I mean? Like, that shit, I'd be embarrassed. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
totally.
pride myself on doing a good job, and because at the end of the day, man, I'm there to serve artists. It's bigger than me. You know what I mean?
Well, that's one thing I was going to say about you is like how long you been in the music industry? Would you say, like, if you had to put a number on it?
Full time, like, doing the business side of things, like actual full time, 10, 12 years. Yeah.
And I don't think personally that you get to 10 or 12 years with a business that is growing, has a good reputation, has great acts. I don't think you get there without being a good person. I mean, you can, maybe more so in the kind of older business model, music business model, you might have been able to get around being a shit cunt. Yeah, but I definitely don't think now you survive 12 years and have a good business, have good artists, have good reputation without being a good person. So
yeah,
well done.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So, I mean, like, it's heaps of shit that that I have heaps of faults and heaps of shit I need to work on. But I think that's just as human beings, we all do. You know what I mean? If you're not always challenging yourself and thinking about how you can be a better person, then, I think I just think it's sad, So
yeah.
But yeah, no, that is one thing I do pride myself on. I will say I'm proud of is just always at least trying my best and trying to do the right thing by artists. But yeah, you're right. I think gone are the days of like the monopoly that some companies would hold, and like the whole bullying and all that bullshit. Like, man, you don't need any of that shit. Like, it's easy. You know how easy it is to be a good person and just be nice to people. Like, I'd rather just be nice to someone. It's so much easier. Like, I don't know, feel bad being a prick. Like, there's just no need for it, man.
Gary V talks about this all the time, like being a leader that leads from a place of respect rather than a place of fear. Like, I think that kind of, the older model, kind of generations gone by, like it was all about fear, and probably still is to a certain extent. But I think a way better model of leadership is from respect, leading by example and leading from a place of respect.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, I think about all the jobs that I've had where, maybe there was a manager there that was a dick and like, it made me not want to go back there. And I'm like, I'm looking for the door. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, totally.
But, you think about like the good experiences you had and like cultures that were created and whatever, and you wanted to stay. So why not emulate that? It's smart business at the at the very least. Even
it really is.
Maybe think about at least pretending to be nice and whatever, because you're going to get a better result.
It's so true. It's so true. It just makes no sense.
Yeah.
Oh God. Okay. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about good intent and some of the different? Yeah. Okay. So I want to break down a little bit. Is that me or you? That's me. We've got a siren back there. So I want to break down the kind of different arms. So as I understand it, we've got PR, management, label services.
Yeah, so basically the artist management is definitely more of a standalone division, because we've got our management clients and they do benefit from, some of the other arms of our business, but essentially that is something that very much stands on its own. So we've got Bootleg Rascal, a neo-soul electronic group called Close Counters, two punk acts, one called FANGZ, one called Down for Tomorrow, and then an indie rock group called Good Lekker, who are our latest.
Okay.
And then the PR and label services side, essentially coexist.
Are they two separate arms? Oh, sorry, you were about to say that.
No, you're right. They are two separate arms, but we essentially, they coexist together because they're essentially external, services for artists that we work with on a non-exclusive basis. So basically, anyone can that we really like and that are good can tap into those services, and they can elect one or the other or both. You know what I mean? So the bread and butter is the PR, but our digital marketing arm, which makes up most of the label services, that is starting to really pick up speed over the last 12 months. And I think because it is becoming a bit of a necessity. Well, not a bit of it. It's becoming a necessity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Traditional PR is great, but at the same time, your digital marketing is just as, if not more important. You know what I mean? I think it's great to get radio play. It's great to get blog support. It's great to get on playlists, but you need to ensure that you've got some kind of plan for building, a fan base via direct marketing. You know what I mean? So. But again, I think it's just there's no one singular thing that's ever going to attribute to an artist's success. There may be certain facets of your strategy and platforms that you engage that are stronger than others. It might be the thing that really does help carve out some success for you. But I still believe that
Sorry, my dog's just fucking being a little bit. She's just running around me right now, being a little brat.
I love it.
Can you shut the door, Bubba, please?
Love it. What was I saying? No, you're right. But I think that's important to have balance. You know what I mean? So, in terms of your marketing, all your marketing plan, covering all the bases. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, there's certain things, maybe a lot of the time too, especially you're working on a restricted budget as an emerging artist. Sometimes it is better maybe just pull all your resources into the things that seem to work more efficiently for you. But I think in the early stages of your career, you've got to be willing to put up, a bit of considerable money to kind of find out what that is, because there are certain artists that every artist that we work with, everyone has a different, kind of combination of the things that do work for them. You know what I mean? So, it's just, I think it's about kind of sometimes throwing shit at the wall to see what works. So
you gotta,
out there casting a wide net with your marketing and your PR. And when you'll start to, after a few releases, you'll start to get a good read of what is connecting. And then once you kind of get to the point where, you know what that is, then if by all means, it'd be good if you can just keep pushing and have that spread where possible. But sometimes that's not always sustainable with your budget, especially in those early stages. Then just refine that and then harness more of the resources into whatever it is that's working.
Figure out what works for you and then kind of dial it in.
Because at the end of the day too, especially with Triple J now, they're back in, I feel 6 years, and I don't care if this stuff's out there public. They'll probably look at this and agree, disagree. I don't care, but I'm not saying anything derogatory here. It's just, I think that they're completely aware now that they need to be competing with, all the streaming platforms like Spotify. They need to be competing with TikTok. They need to be mindful of they're playlisting that supports that basically they're looking at like, how many streams artists have. They're looking at their TikTok followings. They're looking at all these, they're not exclusively those, but it could be YouTube as well. You look at, say, someone like 1-4 and a lot of those drill acts, like a lot of them, seem to like find a real good pathway through YouTube, right?
Massive, yeah.
And then, obviously there's, everyone's finding a lot of success throughout TikTok. We all know that that's no secret. But then also, you look at some of even the Triple Down Earth acts that they're playlisting these days. A lot of them have millions and millions of streams on Spotify, and it makes it incredibly hard for artists who don't possess these things. It's like, but in saying that, is Triple J like playlisting the be-all and everything? Absolutely not. You know what I mean? Like one example of an artist that I manage who gets pretty much no Triple J support anymore is Bootleg Rascal. We get charity spin on Home and Hose and every now and again, and we're appreciative of it. But beyond that, there's not really much going on. So, but in saying that, like they're at an absolute career peak. Like our streaming numbers, on Spotify, for example, have more than doubled over the last 12 months. So they went from around 200,000 monthly listeners to around 450,000 monthly listeners now. And
wow.
There's a lot of things.
That's a lot of people.
It is a lot of people. We're beating out a lot of these, artists who are considered, some of the bigger ones in the country, and we're selling more tickets than we ever have. Well, I'm kind of contradicting myself. But
little asterisks next to that.
Forgetting the fact that the 30% drop of market is in there.
Yeah, I hear you.
We're selling more tickets than what we normally would, at least prorated. So I think once we come out of this bullshit that's happening with COVID, you will see that we're definitely going to be selling more tickets than we ever have before, and we're getting more festival offers than we ever have before. And all our other social channels are popping. Where's
all this growth coming from, in your opinion?
I think Spotify. There's no denying that new fan finder feature that our distributor Believe have been pushing has definitely been a big help in helping lift numbers. But also throughout COVID, we had a fairly
sorry, forgive me. Fan finder feature. What's that one?
The Spotify fan finder basically was a feature that Spotify brought out maybe 18 months ago now. Don't quote me on that, but it's been around for a little while, yeah. And basically what they do is that they really they give you a little bit more preference in their algorithmic playlists, especially like Spotify Radio, for the artist taking a less cut of a royalty on per stream. So while you receiving less per stream, it's effectively growing your audience out to be a lot bigger. And so it comes back to that same analogy that I had before by letting people into the equity share of good intent. It's like, I can have this little pie over here all to myself, or I can have this big fuck off pie and share it with a few people, but even still that 60% or whatever I retain is going to be bigger than the small pie that I could have myself. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about looking at things bigger picture. And so for us, with Bootleg, their revenue, is even just by putting some of the songs in that Spotify fan finder feature, our revenue's gone through the roof. We're making way more money than what we normally would by doing that. So
is that on total streams, or are you talking shows and merch and stuff like that as well?
I'm just talking about streaming revenue, our
streaming revenue. Okay,
gone up considerably. But in saying that too, there's a lot of other stuff that we've been doing with DSP optimization and social media optimization as well. But a lot of stuff that we've been doing on the other channels as well to kind of help increase the growth there, because it's super important.
Sorry, one sec.
You're right.
Charge came undone.
No worries, bro.
Oh God, it's a fucking technical It's a technical minefield over here. Oh God, I'm telling you, dude. I'm still ironing out some kinks with this whole thing. I'm definitely getting better, but there's just like, because there's so many like aspects of it, you're on the go. Like I've got this thing, I've got all these lights. There are still some things that every now and then just kind of like don't go exactly how I'd like it to.
Lots of moving parts.
Lots of moving parts. Yeah. Lots of moving parts that I'm only just kind of been teaching myself in the last couple of months. So, I'm definitely getting better at it all, but it's not perfect yet. And still some streamlining to be done.
That's good, man.
As we've figured out tonight.
Yeah, I love it. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, the amount of times that, that I've fucked things up or like, it's taken me so long to learn things and whatever, it's unbelievable. But I think that's what, truly makes us the experts that we are, right? It's just you're going through all that shit. And
and you know what? I am kind of loving it. I'm kind of loving it.
So I think it's good to own mistakes and take responsibility for things. So that no one wants to deal with people who like don't do that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't anyway. I just think it's like, just be honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I think it's cool. But yeah, like back to what I was saying. So basically, yeah, there's like an increase there. Like, but like just I think we had like a real aggressive like release strategy. Like where one thing that we found was like, throughout COVID, we were doing like a lot of conceptual like releases, like a B-sides EP. We did like a conceptual record where it was about like reimagining some of their past discography and just release it really regularly. And so like one thing that we found worked really well for us was just dropping a track every month. And so we did that with the B-sides EP. And that's when we first saw our really big spike in monthly listenership across Spotify. And so we emulated that with the album cycle for the Reimagine material. And saw the same kind of numbers start to really kick up again. So that with the Fan Finder feature going, and then also like, just the general across the board DSP optimization growing out all the other channels is just, we started to see like a really good lift of engagement and followers and also like just all the supporting content that we did as well. Like we pumped out like some pretty good content in terms of like video content. But I'm fortunate enough to also own a photography and videography studio. And where we can do a lot of stuff there in-house and we can turn it around really quickly with our studio.
That's awesome.
Also an editor as well. It's just a combination of everything. And then obviously like, our digital marketing strategy as well. Rick Bridgman, who's one of my other business partners, he's essentially takes a lead on all our marketing. So, he was busy setting up ads across all the different channels to like help promote growth and engagement across their current fan base and new audiences and whatnot. So it's a like combination of a whole bunch of things, but also coming back to the PR stuff, like, Bootleg always had like a really healthy, slew of support from a lot of blogs and community radio stations and radio stations abroad as well. So just goes to show, man, that, there's no one singular thing that will ever like really attribute to the overall success. It's just there are certain facets where you'll find strength and whatever. But yeah, for the most part, it's just comes down to like really having like that as much coverage as possibly can. So and just
trying to have all those cylinders firing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, man, I don't know. Did that answer what you asked? I go on massive tangents.
No, that was fine. I can't remember what I asked anyway, but I guess. Oh, dude, you sounded hella smart. It was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted to hear. But I do have some questions.
Go.
So can I just take it back for a second to the three arms? Just so, because what I would like to do is if a new artist or someone who kind of like, ideally I want someone who doesn't really know what's going on to jump on here and go, oh, that's what PR is. That's what artist management is. That's what label services is. So just a bit of a breakdown in terms of what each of these departments are trying to achieve. So for PR, we'll start with PR.
Sure. Well, PR is essentially, for us anyway, and what we specialize in is taking an artist release and getting it in front of, third-party validators across the media sphere that, can provide editorial and other opportunities to help, like basically have your music plug into their audience and benefit from that. So, the certain mediums that we will go out and pitch the likes of, radio. So under that bracket, there's Triple J and all the other ABC contemporaries like Double J, Triple Down Earth, ABC Local Radio. You've got community radio stations. So like there's around, I think 300 in Australia that are probably suitable for, contemporary artists, just off the top of my head. But there's probably around, kind of 10 main ones that you need to pay close attention to in terms of their reach and influence. So, in Brisbane, you've got like 4ZZZ. Sydney, you've got FBI and 2SER. Melbourne, you've got Sin FM, PBS FM, 3RRR. You got Radio Adelaide. You got RTR FM in Perth. You got 2XX FM in Canberra. And yeah, like basically, they're some of the main ones. There's certainly a few more there that I could probably rattle off that sit within that tier or just below. But a lot of those stations, especially like say someone like 3RRR, quite often at times I've seen that they've had a bigger audience reach than what Triple J have had in Melbourne. So, and I think also a lot of the audiences that, are that of the community radio market, sometimes they are a lot more lean forward and like in terms of and much more passionate like music fans, because I think for the most part, like a lot of Triple J's audience, especially, don't get me wrong, absolutely brilliant audience and one you'd love to tap into. But I think for a lot of them, it's like, they're just kids that are like, oh yeah, I go to Splendor in the Grass every year. Like, you know what I mean? It's like how are they really out there, helping emerging acts like, and I mean, yeah, sure, some of them are, but like, I'm just saying that,
as a percentage, it's probably slightly smaller. Yeah,
100%. So, like some of those like community radio audiences, I think they're just a lot more on the ground and at the grassroots level, and they're going out to the gigs, they're buying the merch, like, and they're really interested and passionate about artist discovery. So, but yeah, so there's the radio, there's commercial radio in Australia as well, but look, they're not really the biggest advocates for supporting artists at those early stages. These are advertisers, and so essentially they're more interested in like streaming numbers and audience demand and YouTube hits and whatever it is, like or even like, is Triple J on top of this? Like, they want to know that like if they put it on the air, people are going to know what they're listening to, which makes sense. Over the years, there have been like some opportunities, like say some of their nighttime programming, because they do. I think the last time I checked, anyway. Excuse me. I think the minimum quota of local content commercial radio has to fulfill, I think it's around 20%, I think it is. That's going back.
Australian?
Yes, 20% local content. Yeah, Australian artists. But, most of the time, I think they just fulfill that by putting on, 10 AC/DC songs a day. Like, you know what I mean?
Bit of Guy Sebastian, Jessica Malboy.
Yeah, whatever, So, but, in saying that, like, they have, there are, someone like, say, Triple M, like they do have some like really cool digital programs, like, Hard and Heavy and Distortion, or even Triple M Aussie, where, that's probably like the first kind of touch point into some of those stations. And I do think that some of those programs too do end up on the FM band as well. So there are some opportunities that exist within some of the stations, but yeah, for the most part across the board, like I'm looking at some of the ads that are coming through for like hit nights and things like that, and there's some like really big artists that are like Aussie artists that are only getting those nighttime spots now, whereas maybe a few years ago, like we were able to be cheeky enough to get some of the more emerging acts that we were working with on night rotation, like say Hit FM or Nova or whoever. But yeah, those opportunities are few and far between now, and I think a lot of it is probably comes down to as well is that like the fact that like a lot of those radio organizations are scaled back dramatically on their staffing as well. So when you don't have the staff there to kind of curate and like work through like kind of what's going to work on a local level, it's just as easy just to hit this play on the same playlist. You know what I mean? So like
totally.
Like, if they are going to like have some kind of curation,
way less to think about.
Some of the remaining nighttime programs that are there. It's just easier just to put the big acts on, isn't it? You know what I mean? So anyway.
they're gonna, people are gonna bang to them. So,
but the takeaway from that is with radio, like if you can just try and focus on like the community radio side of things, Triple Down Earth, Triple J or Double J, ABC Local Radio, And then, and then you should start to find like a good pathway there, hopefully. In terms of other things that publicists do, we also target blogs. And so a valid question these days is, what's the value of blogs in 2022? Because everyone's like, I just want to be on streaming playlists. And it's like, that's all well and good, and we'll get to that in a second. But I think blogs still have a tremendous amount of value. Obviously it's hard when you're looking at it in the value, like return on investment for, say, emerging artists being placed on blogs. It's like, well, who's going to give a shit and who's going to read all this stuff? And it's like, well, to be honest, like it is probably one of the trickier things to do, is to like have that level of artist discovery through blogs in 2022. Like back in the day, like, in the glory days, like, blogs used to be the playlist, you know what I mean? But as soon as streaming,
that's a good point.
That changed. But so, what value do you have as an artist and like artist discovery in blogs in this day and age? Well, the real value, in my opinion, is the fact that if you get featured on some of these blogs, actually excellent marketing drivers to fuel conversations where it really matters, say, such as like, Spotify and Triple J. So you go in there and you talk about what's happening with the artist. If you start rattling off that being supported by Power Rats or Purple Sneakers or like Life Out Andy or whoever it may be, or, on the heavier side of things like Hysteria or Kill Your Stereo, blah, blah, blah. You start talking about these tastemakers and other major music site support, then it's just an extra thing to be talking about to show that there's validation, like from, people who are considered tastemakers.
Totally.
So it's another nice extra layer of the story, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Well, okay. So can I just ask a question there? So, to me, what it sounds like you're saying, based on the couple of examples that you've given, as opposed in radio and blog, right? To me, it feels like PR is meant to sit there as an aid in telling your story as an artist, and also creating credibility.
And
like, sorry, you go.
Oh no, I was just going to say that. Look, I'm just walking through the mediums at this point, but no, you're dead right. And that was the thing I was going to get to. That, like, on top of like all the people that we go out to, our job is to come up with angles and like stories and ways to kind of generate interest from the public, and also these gatekeepers and tastemakers. So you're dead right. That is the job of a publicist. Like, we write press releases, we help with release timeline and plans. Like, it's our job to like, provide all like regular reporting to our clients as well, to make sure that they're completely aware of what's happening in the campaign. From the people that are supporting, the people that are intending to support, the people that are passing, like that are indifferent to it. Like, that transparency is super important.
That's important as well.
100%. And also like, who's considering and like whatever, or who we've gone out to and it's been non-responsive. Like, it's a very open book with us and the way that we work. And I think that's why a lot of people like working with us, because, we don't ever say that we're going to guarantee anything, because I think,
dangerous.
That's not possible. We can't hold a gun to people's heads. And so, but basically it's just like about making sure that, like beyond the radio and the blogs, we also go out to, and this is where I guess like the lines are a little bit blurry, because some of the services we offer within our PR services also we offer within our label services. So there's a bit of an element of label services in being a publicist, just because that's how the job's kind of evolved in this day and age. Because I think a lot of
does this include like this, like servicing?
Yeah, so basically one of the things that we do on the PR side and also label services side is that we will go out and pitch the likes of Spotify, Deezer, Amazon, Apple Music and YouTube for their curator playlists to their editorial teams. So that's another job. And then we also, and this is going more into our label services side of the business, we have a package where we do digital marketing and playlist pitching as well. So there is a little bit of crossover there. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's everyone wants to be on playlists. So,
totally. Might as well offer it. Yeah.
Both. And I mean, like, to be honest, there's not that many people to email about it. So, having it on both services, it just makes sense for the model and for our clients' needs. So, but yeah, and then additional to the radio blogs and the editorial playlist pitching on the PR side, we also do a couple of TV outlets. So like, you got, especially in the emerging side of things, like if an artist has got like a music video, we'll go out to ABC's Rage and MTV Upload. That's about all there is in terms of that. If you're wanting to talk about like servicing TV a little bit more broadly, when you talk like building a narrative for, say, someone that's got like a real compelling story to tell, there are other, TV outlets that you can explore, and more on a commercial level too. But yeah, for the most part, like when we're talking about our bread and butter, which is like dealing with emerging acts, it's usually just, that's about the extent of TV that we'll do, is just going out and servicing music videos, because that's about all there is at that level. But yeah, beyond TV, we also do retail, gym and club playlistings. So whenever you walk into like, say, a store like General Pants or even Big W or whatever, or Coles, Coles, even with Coles Radio.
Coles Radio, yeah.
The Coles Radio is actually curated by Nova, funnily. So we go out to them and pitch them and get some of our artists that suit their audience, which is, fairly easy listening, accessible music. We service them. But there's also, on the retail, gym and club playlist side of things, there's 3 companies that we pitch in Australia. One is called Mood Media, one is called Nightlife, and one is called Stingray. And basically what they do is that they license and curate a lot of the playlists that you listen to when you walk into.
I like Anytime Fitness and stuff like that.
Yeah, all those type of companies.
Yeah, okay, cool.
I couldn't tell you who's who without looking at at some of our documents. But
I'm pretty sure the Nightlife, I've seen them pop up at the Anytime Fitness that I go to. So they might do.
I think they've probably got one of the bigger footprints, especially like their branding visibility. I think they're very, front and center. They do a lot of the music video, jukebox at like pubs and things like that.
Right.
As well. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So yeah, but
that's one I didn't think about, actually. The whole retail pitching, and that's something I never thought about.
It's a great extension of like the other efforts, So just try and be everywhere and all the time, So So basically that's it. That's essentially all the people that we'll go out to. I mean, like print media is like a dying kind of thing, like so we don't really do that. But yeah, like basically, that's essentially all the places that we'll target for the PR side of things, and we, like I said, part of the job as well is helping come up with like a plan, a release strategy, all the targets, the timeline of works, like making sure that we're delivering a report like on a weekly basis, but also like making sure that we're updating our client with like any like key wins that come through like as soon as we can. But yeah, just also like coming up with ideas for additional content to like help incentivize press, to get them over the line, to help run stories, and like because there's many mouths to feed, and it's a very competitive landscape out there. So by us coming up with like content ideas and like angles and things like that helps make it interesting to their readership, then that's part of our responsibility as well. So we lean.
So if you kind of instead of going to like a blog and going, oh, here's X artist with X song, you might go, hey, here's X artist that loves to do make a great spaghetti bolognese, or like
exactly
like in terms of like just what I'm saying is like random content ideas that are more than just the music. Is that what your job is?
Yeah, and I mean it can be something fun and throwaway like that, or it can be something that's maybe touches on a deeper subject, like like when we
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, well, I think one thing that we do before we start working with an artist, right at the start of the campaign, is we give them an artist profile, and what do we call it? Artist campaign and profile questionnaire. And so basically, we run through a series of questions where we ask them like, like, do you have any political beliefs that you'd like to convey? Obviously all the like, general kind of cookie cutter shit, like what's the song about? How'd you get into music? Blah, 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 blah. And if there's anything interesting there that we see that's not too linear, that we're like, oh, cool, let's work on that. But yeah, like the political stuff, the more cultural stuff, if they're sexuality as well, like there's just any things like that they
okay. That's cool.
Then we will lean into that, because we've got a very diverse roster of people who are First Nations, Black people of color, LGBTIQ community, female artists as well, and it's great to be able to tell their stories and sometimes the things that they're passionate about. They're about dismantling what's essentially a industry dominated by white cisgender men. You know what I mean? So it's good to be able to use our efforts and skills to be able to be there to help these people and amplify their stories and their message. So, I think it's a super important thing,
and that's all from the PR side to kind of find those little pockets that you can lean into as a team and tell that broader story.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, it's and it's always makes it much more interesting, like reading or piquing people's curiosity, about these projects when you've got something there to talk about other than local band releases song, annoying.
Fire emoji, fire emoji, fire emoji.
And saying that too, it doesn't always necessarily have to be deeply serious. I manage Bootleg Rascal. They're a pack of fucking blockheads, and so am I. And that's why I'm the best manager for them, because I am a fucking blockhead. You know what I mean? I manage party bands, and we just like to have a good time. And so a lot of the content that we come out with is just taking the piss, and just having a laugh, and just silly statuses or posts or. A couple of years ago, I forged an email to them about not spending money. I don't know. Did you see that email that went viral?
I think I saw that. Yeah. Not spending the money on the rack? Was that?
Yeah, well, so I said, we got to stop with all these transactions of $300. And obviously everyone's but we did it. It was funny because there was a bit of a sense of authenticity to it. I did get up and they were away shooting these music videos up in central Queensland somewhere, Chinchilla, I think the place was called. And basically they were kind of taking the piss a little bit with the band ATM card. I'm like, can you guys fucking cut this shit out?
Yeah.
And then and then they're like, yeah, no worries, sorry. And I'm like, actually, you know what? This would be funny if I wrote an email and I just pass it up with a little bit of the language and lingo that those kids like, which is essentially just classic Central Coast, bogan talk. I was just like, can you what did I say? Something about, can you stop pumping pineapples into the bricky's laptop, or I don't know, stupid shit like that. And everyone just went for it. They loved it. So so this goes to show you just got to find out who your audience is and who you are, and just be authentic to it. You know what I mean? So, and I mean, sometimes it takes a long time to find that, or sometimes it's just more about the music, and it's just, you just got to. I just think authenticity is the key. You know what I mean? And just try. Don't be scared to try things, and don't be afraid to do things differently. You know what I mean? Man, it's something I've always prided myself on, and I feel like it's so funny. Coming up, I would have all these crazy ideas that I'd put to people, and they'd be like, oh no, that would never work or whatever. But there were definitely a few clients that I worked with that were like, yeah, you know what, that's fucking cool, let's try that, and we had some real success with certain things. And then it kind of gave me that reassurance, yeah, you know what, fuck it, just be yourself, try, don't be scared to push the envelope, because I think the biggest problem in the Australian music industry, in my eyes, is that most people are too safe, and they are too worried about what other people think and all this shit. And I'm just like, fuck that, man. Dude, push the envelope, try shit. And don't be scared to fail, man. Dude, I fail every fucking day. But you know what? If I didn't get out there and try some of the shit that I did, it wouldn't have led me to the successes that I've had. You know what I mean? So I just think just be yourself, man, and still be nice. Don't be a dickhead, but don't be afraid to have get in there and disrupt everything a little bit. You know what I mean? Disruption's good. It's what keeps things fresh and interesting. Yeah.
Yep. Totally. I love that. I'm going to have to write this down because I'm going to clip this last 20-second rant. This is going to be a short or a reel.
That's going to be the promo video? Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's going to be the reel right there.
Cool.
I'm actually, do you know what? I'm actually getting better at that is I'm actually, as I'm going, I'm mentally clipping. That's where I'm going to cut. That's where so because I know that once we finish this conversation, I'll go and I'll cut maybe 2 or 3 little reels out of this. Yeah. And that was definitely one of them.
Cool.
That was a nice little rant.
I was going to say, we've been talking for a fair while now. Like, no one's going to sit here and watch 2 hours.
How long's it been?
Shit. Yeah, I think. Yeah,
has it been 2 hours?
Well, when we start, probably about 8. Hang on, the Facebook will tell us. Maybe we started way later, actually. Because we were. I feel like maybe we started about 8:20. Maybe. Hang on.
Yeah, so it's an hour and 20. That's all right. I'll ask you a couple more questions, and then
sure.
I'll ask you a couple more questions about the management and label services stuff, just so we have a bit of context there. We've got a fair bit on the PR. I think that covers pretty much everything that I think it should anyway for PR. Sure. In terms of management, you just touch on a little bit of it there, you know, being the dad with the fucking bank account, boys, come on, pull your head in. What else is involved in the management side of things?
Oh man.
I guess you could say, like, because there would there be some crossover here? Like it's inevitable that there's going to be crossover with the PR and label services stuff.
Yeah, PR marketing and content, obviously it's a big part of, you know, like the looking after an artist in their career. I mean, like, yeah, like obviously, like our artists are, you know, lucky in the fact that they get to lean into like those resources that we have. But yeah, even if we didn't have that, yeah, you know, would we get a publicist? Yeah, we'd probably hire one. But in saying that, it's still a massive responsibility on the manager's shoulders, regardless, for them to be active with, you know, proactive with like kind of working on alongside us to, you know, put together like the release plan and talking about the PR strategy with us, you know what I mean? So I think that the manager needs to have some kind of knowledge there and input and just be clear on what it is that they want us to convey, like, you know, because essentially they're the artists in themselves are the ones that are driving the ship. So that they need to be able to give the publicist direction in that. So yeah, it does, to answer your question, a big part of a manager's role is to, you know, be heavily involved with the you know, direction of the PR and also, like, you know, for the most part, like doing marketing, like, you know, that's really something that falls back on the manager as well. I mean, like, yeah, if the artist has a budget, like, sure, like, you know, get a digital marketing agency that can do it. Like, they're all, you know, typically going to be able to do a better job because you know, it's what they do every day. But in saying, I know some managers out there who are absolutely brilliant marketers. Like, for example, one of my business partners, Rick, like he's one of those guys, like, you know, he's a great manager, but his digital marketing skill set is phenomenal as well. So, yeah. But yeah, like, so, you know, what does a manager do and what do we do? We look after every single facet of the artist business. Like, so where it's from coming up with like planning strategy, you know, like helping like with facilitate the accounting and bookkeeping, you know, and also making sure that, like, you know, we're working with accountants that can kind of, you know, do most of the, you know, nitty gritty work on that kind of stuff. Like, we'll just do
music accountants. Do you work with specific music accountants?
I work with White Sky, who I think arguably like the biggest like music business accountancy firm in Australia. And they're really good. And fortunately enough too, my dad's an accountant as well. However, like, you know, like it's still good to have White Sky involved because the old man, like, he's, you know, not really that versed up on like what, you know, things that you can claim on within the entertainment industry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there'd be some pretty niche stuff like understanding streaming royalties and stuff like that. I feel like, publishing.
Yeah. So he's able to help me with, you know, like the kind of more like, you know, traditional side of things, like, you know, lodging and like, you know, income tax and all stuff like that. But like, yeah, it's good to get them to help go over the bookkeeping with me to make sure that we're, getting all everything there that we need to be claiming on, and we're doing it in the right, taking the right approach there, like for the industry focus reasons. But yeah, basically, like I was saying, so planning strategy, there's accounting, there's budgeting, there's like, you know, assisting with like the recording process, like making sure that we're trying to pair them with the right producers, engineers, even like co-writes as well. Like, so, you know, coming down to like making sure that we're a big part of that journey with A&Ring the music and making sure that they're working with all the collaborators that can get the best out of them as artists, you know. And then beyond like the sonic creation, or there's obviously the identity treatment as well, and like pairing like, photographers and videographers and graphic designers and illustrators there to like kind of help like, finish off bringing the whole product together. And so and then once all that product creation's done, then working through like on a marketing plan and like PR plan and making sure we got all our teams in each respective territory that we're prioritizing or we're handling in-house ourselves, obviously here in Australia. Sorry. Also, working on the live plan side of things. So obviously we have booking agents for each one of our artists. So like basically go to them with the plans and the date range that we want to do and talk about the room sizes that we want to set out to do and then, getting their input in on that. But usually like we're, all on the same page and it's basically like, hey, this is what we want, go do it. Great. And then obviously like, one of the biggest benefits that you usually get out of working with agents is not only taking away a lot of that administrative work on the show side of things, but their ability to get you on like, festivals because they're talking to these promoters every day. You know what I mean? So, so there's that. So what have we covered off? We've done planning strategy, financials. Oh, legals is another one too. Like, so,
that's a big one. Yep.
So we work with, we recommend all our artists work with media arts lawyers. So Julian Hewitt and Rob Glass. Those guys are really great. We have different lawyers to them, Brett Oaten solicitors, so there's not a conflict of interest. But yeah, they're all two really great firms. So what do we got? We've got
so when you say we, you mean Good Intent versus your artists? Okay.
Good Intent. We use Brett Oaten solicitors, and they're fantastic. But media arts lawyers, they're brilliant as well. And
who you recommend for your artists?
Yeah, and they all love working with them, so that's good.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then so there's the accounting, the budgeting, and the legals, the planning strategy, the music and visual.
The identity treatment.
Yeah, identity treatment, marketing, PR,
and then also conversing with the booking agent as far as planning goes.
Yeah, and then the live strategy, and then obviously merchandise as well. And I think that covers off most of it off the top of my head. They're the main ones. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be 3 or 4 more things that I forget as I hang up this Zoom call, but
there's a hell of a lot in there already, though.
Yeah, there is. But I feel like that covers it. Hang on. What else we got? Grants is another one. Like we help, either write grants ourselves or we facilitate a grant writer for them. Publishing and sync's another good one.
Yep, big one.
So that's another one that we can either, if our artist has a publisher or like a non-exclusive sync agency, like we, facilitate stuff for there, or if we get anything inbound, obviously we can handle it on our side. But yeah, so I think that covers off most things, man. So, obviously there's a heap more like that we could go into that, that are attached to those sub topics and items.
Yep.
For the most part, that's
it. There's a lot. Can I ask you a question? Right. So if you're, of course I can ask you a question. But yeah, I'd hope I can. Sorry, mate. Too many questions tonight. You're gonna have to fucking take a hike. So if you're, so that's a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you are handling that. You're not handling all that by yourself, are you?
I did
a lot of it.
A lot of it throughout COVID, but the good thing, logistics. That's the other one. Jesus, didn't think about that one. So yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because we've just hired a new guy who's now come on board to like just another part timer who will hopefully be full time soon. But yeah, basically the marketing side, basically what we're trying to do moving forward, especially now that we're starting to see revenue come back through the management side because our artists can tour again. Now we're trying to take more of a team approach than what we have done in the past. Like, yeah, I've definitely had a lot of help from people in the building, but a lot of it's people coming out of the roles that they have, like, and we've always been spinning plates to try and help get the job done. But the exciting thing now is that Rick, who I mentioned before, I just talk to him whenever I want digital marketing done. I'm like, hey, dude, this is what I want done. Can you make it happen? He's like, yep, done.
Yep.
And that's like, sweet, one thing off the plate. And then with the logistics, like, just the bands, getting them around with like flights and ground transport and accommodation, and tying all the work sheet, admin information on like show advancing and stuff. That we have a young guy that does that now, and yeah, he's great. So that's been really cool. But yeah, no, I guess as we continue to evolve and we hopefully make more money through the management,
probably bring more people on.
Yeah, we'll just keep defining the roles and whatever, and it'd be great to at some point one day where I'll be able to get my own personal assistant. But I think we're in that recovery stage at the moment. So I think that's a bit of a luxury that I probably won't experience for a bit. But yeah, look, the most part, it's we'll have a very well oiled machine. I think sorry to go off topic a little bit, but the PR side of our business, because again, that's been, it hasn't had as much disruption to it as what the management side does. That we've been able to really get a well-oiled engine there, where we've got a team of 3 full-time publicists, and it's tiered down into different responsibilities, so managerial to coordinator to assistant, and that's working great. And so eventually I will get the same kind of structure on the management side. But yeah, it's just we're just in that awkward recovery mode at the moment, where we're just getting back on our feet, and
still a bit clunky.
Yeah. Well, it's just more resources, and the roadblocks of that financially that present themselves. So, and just as
absolutely
aftermath of COVID, we just made it through, and now it's things are looking good, but there's still a lot of stuff that we need to do to rebuild and fully recover.
Yep, totally. I'm glad that you did make it through.
Oh, so am I. It was looking very close to stacking shelves at Woolies at one point, that's for sure.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, we're here now. All right, Robert, just because I'm conscious of the time, and I'm conscious of the end listener not having to sift through 3 or 4 hours of us conversing. I might finish with one more thought / question.
Yeah.
And then, once we kind of dot off a few ideas here, then we might sign it off. All right.
Sure,
so what I want to know is so if you're an emerging artist, if you're a new artist coming into or artist manager, okay, so if you're a young artist manager or a young artist in the Australian music landscape at this moment in time, maybe you started 12 months ago, even 24 months ago, but you're fairly fresh, you don't really have a network, you have you spare $200 a week to maybe spend on a video or some marketing here and there. How do you go from, so one thing I want to kind of touch on is how much time do you spend thinking about right now, writing and finishing songs right now? And how much time do you spend on planning album here, tour there, this there, how much are you balancing that? And also, kind of what are the things that you can plug in to actually start to, build a little bit of momentum? Because as you know, it's fucking, it's pretty scary out there. There's a fair bit of saturation, especially when you don't really have anyone, either being a solo artist with no one, or you're a young artist manager working with your buddy who just started rapping or whatever.
Yeah.
So do you mind talking on that a little bit?
Sure. I'm sorry. That was a reminder that just came up on my computer.
That's okay.
Sorry, dry for it. So basically, I there's a lot to unpack there. To address your first question, though, it's what do you do if you've only got a small budget of $200 a week to invest into the project? Where do you best place that money? Are you saying, is that the marketing budget, the $200?
Well, that could be anything. So I'm thinking about from the point of view of just say you're you have some average job making $700 a week, and then you're making music at night time or on the weekends or in your spare time. And you've got, the majority of your weekly wage is going towards living and surviving. And then with any spare money that you have, let's just say that's $200. Maybe you're a smart, 21-year-old and you're not spending it on fucking caps on the weekend. You're actually going to put it into your music, right? Sure. So it could be music video, it could be marketing, it could be playlist pitching.
Honestly, you better, if you're only got $200 a week to put into the project, then you need to be like putting yourself out there to start teaching yourself how to do these things yourself. Like you're going to have to start really deep diving into like, like online courses, and like there's one out there called Entrepreneur, which I thought was pretty, you probably actually, have we talked about this?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think something like that, like, is probably a good way of being able to start to really navigate around building an audience with a DIY approach, because at the end of the day, like, you probably, like, especially if you've got a small budget, you're better off putting it into digital marketing as opposed to expensive PR and things like that. Like, the reality is that for the most part, to get any decent publicist, you have to pay the money. You know what I mean? Like, $200 a week isn't really going to...
It's not going to do it.
No, I don't think so. I mean, like, unless you were saving that money up for a little bit, but still, I feel like you probably get better bang for buck by putting that $200 into building like a fan funnel. And like, so basically it's like, segmenting your audience into 3 groups. So basically you've got the people that don't know who you are, the people that might be aware of who you are and maybe heard of the name or whatever, and then the people who are fans, you know what I mean? That's in the most 3 basic, forms that we can separate it. I'm sure that if you really wanted to deep dive, we can like talk about all the levels of fanship or whatever, but like to keep things simple, that's how the kind of way that you want to look at it. And so Facebook business, the beauty of that model is that they set up that their back end for creating ads with that audience, group audience,
like hierarchy.
Yeah, like the division of the
segmentation.
Group. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of something else, segmentation, but that works really good. So basically it's the awareness, there's consideration, and there's conversion. And so those 3 represent the awareness, the people that don't know about you. You're trying to build
awareness,
that project. And then at that consideration point, that's the people that may have heard of the project. Oh yeah, I've heard of him. Apparently he's pretty good. Like, I'm thinking about becoming a fan. Like, obviously they're not saying that because no one would ever say that, but it's subconscious. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I'm been meaning to check them out. Apparently that record's really good. And then the final stage is for like the people where, you're converting them into fans. Like you're converting those fans into doing something, taking an action that you want them to take, So like, and that's essentially what represents a fan funnel. Like, you're taking these people from the top, and then you're trying to lead them down to that next part, and then down to this next part down there. Like, the end goal is to convert them into...
Another way is cold, warm, hot. Take them from cold audience. Warm them up until they're hot fans. Right.
That's probably a way better analogy.
No. I only say that because that's a way that the entrepreneur guys describe it as a cold war audience and a hot audience and warm audience, etc.
100%. So if you can try and do that, I think it's something you can kind of set and forget. You know what I mean? But again, there's just so many different end goals that you want to get them. That hot audience to take. Is it getting them to sign up to your mailing list? Is it getting to smash that follow button on Spotify? Is it getting to buy a ticket to your concert? Is it to and to me, it's like, well, it's all those things really. It just depends on what, you're trying to prioritize where you're at in your cycle, what you're trying to achieve. I mean, like, to me, I think once you got into that hot point, you want to try and keep the transactions fairly achievable. Like, trying to sell these people a $100 merch bundle might be a little bit like ambitious, in those early stages. So, you want to get them hot, like. And I think it's like, if you pay attention to the entrepreneur program, which maybe we want to go into after we chat, and to explain people about what it is. I don't know. I'll leave that with you.
Yeah, no, I will. I'll link it down below, and I'll probably chat in the pre-roll thing.
Yeah. But basically, they talk about how, treating fans should be like a friendship. You know what I mean? It's like, so, and 100% it should be. It's like,
makes so much sense. Yeah.
Like, if I walked into a gig on, at Drifters Wharf on the Central Coast with you, and we'd never met, but we've got a mutual friend, and we're both there to see 360, And I walked up and I was like, and I was introduced to you. It's like, hey, Maddie, this is Rob, Maddie. Like, hey, brother, what's going on? We're having a beer, and I'm going to get our mutual friend a beer. But, bro, do you want a beer as well? And you're like, oh, fuck yeah, dude. Cheers. All right, cool. I come back, like, we all have beers, we get talking, we have a sick night, like, you know, and then the next week, like, Seth Century's playing the same venue. And you're like, oh, bro, you going to Seth Century next week? I'm like, fuck, man, I didn't get a ticket. And you'd be like, bro, I got a spare one. Do you want to come? I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. And so, you know, that's where like this level of friendship has started. I've done something for you. You've done something for me. And so it's like, oh, like, how are you getting home, man? And you'll be like, can I get a lift? And I'll be like, yeah, man, fucking oath. Like, of course you can. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to look at fans.
It's developing a bond. Yep.
Like, you know, I've never understood artists who slide into my fucking inbox, like on my personal social media with a link to their music, or even like sometimes no context at all. It's just like SoundCloud link. It's like, what do you want me to fucking do with this, man? Like, you know, even before I was working in the music industry, you'd have those bands that like come and just send it, and you're just like, fuck off, man. Who the fuck are you? Go away.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it makes sense. It's like, people don't want to be bothered. Like, it's like, yeah, do something for me. It's like, who are you?
Totally. Well, that's what it is. It's a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of entitlement, and it's not respecting the fact that there's actually humans behind that fucking screen. You know, and you wouldn't do that if you just met them in the street. You probably wouldn't do that. Or if you just met them at a gig, you wouldn't
shove it in their ear, would you?
Shove it in there. Yeah, I know. I used to. I'll tell you what.
Maybe
they would. The what?
I reckon there's a content spin on that, but anyway, we're going off topic. Like, look, here's the thing. I think that like ultimately, you know, it's applying the principles of, you know, blossoming friendship. You know what I mean? So. Instead of like sliding into someone's DMs with like being like, hey, listen to music, do something for me. It's like more so like you set up an ad, a video, and it's like, you know, if you're say like a indie rock band and you kind of appeal to people that like say Phoenix and Foals and fucking I don't know, Franz Ferdinand. It's like maybe you set up a video ad with a 15-second snippet of one of your songs, like a chorus hook, and you preface the accompanying text to contextualize it all is Sydney-based band XYZ for fans of Bowls, Franz Ferdinand, and Phoenix. And then someone might watch the ad for the 15 seconds and like, well, they might like it, they might comment on it, they might tag in their friend or whatever. And anyway, and so you just planted the seed with that person. And so then you set up the following ad, the consideration one, where you get them to take that next step. It's like Sydney band XYZ, like, you know, join and you know, sorry, I'm just trying to think about how. Okay, so like it might be like playing live a free show next week at Waywoods, register on.
Right. So this is the next step. They've gone, oh, I've seen that thing. And then, they're playing a show. Right. So it's like you're taking them down the path. Yep.
Yeah. And maybe we don't even get them to take an action on that. We're just planting the seed that we're putting on a free show next month. You know what I mean? At Waywoods. And so, you know, and then if they like that and comment, they might tag a friend or like it or watch a video and be like, oh, yeah, cool. I might go to that. You know what I mean? And so basically, we're retarget at that point, though. You're retargeting like the highly engaged viewers or people who took actions on that first video. You know what I mean? So you're taking them down the funnel, getting them from being cold to warm to eventually hot. And so then the final video might be like, sign up to our mailing list to get guaranteed entry to the show next week, and we'll also give away a merch bundle or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
cool.
Just not fully fleshed out, brilliant ideas, but you're starting to see that, okay, cool. You're bringing down these, you're like introducing the band, like you say, hey man, my name is Rob. And then it's like, after we've talked for a little bit, oh yeah, you like what I like? Cool. I'm going to go.
Yeah, let me get you a beer.
Thing that you like, drinking the beer or playing the show, whatever it is. And then by the end of it, then like, you know, it's the lift home. And so it's like that final video, you retarget those people that were hot on that video. And then you offer them something. So sign up to our mailing list to get guaranteed like entry to the show. And then you might have like a VIP door list that you put them on for this free entry show where
I like that.
20 spots reserved where they walk up. And you know what? You might even give a shirt away to these people. I know that sounds crazy and whatever, but like, you know what, man? At the end of the day, those out of those 20 people, like there's going to be a few of those people that hang around for life. And, you know, that fan might spend $1,000 over the course of your career just for like a, you know,
just for that $20 shirt.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So I hope that, I'm rambling, but I hope that the point that I'm trying to make is clear enough for everyone. But
it is. It is. So, but so the point I think that we started on, and that I think you're trying to make is if you've only got the $200, you're better off putting that into knowledge, like going and getting courses, going and educating yourself, going and building some of these skills.
You know,
yeah.
Go learn how to use Facebook business, Instagram business, and TikTok marketing, and you know, YouTube, like Google Ads, like all that kind of shit. Go teach yourself how to do that. Trial and error.
Go take courses. You can go on Udemy or whatever it's called. Like you can get like heaps of courses on how to do like Facebook and Instagram, dynamic ads. You can learn how to do all that shit pretty simply. Like the courses are real cheap as well. Like, you know, you can get them for like $19 and they're pretty solid courses.
So yeah, again, I think the one that I kind of saw that I thought was good was Entrepreneur. So check that out. But yeah, look, some of those other ones sound great too. I might have to look into them myself.
I'll definitely link them all below for everyone to have a look at.
No, that's great. But yeah, look, I think that, the point is that, like, you know, you can get out there and create your own fortune. You don't need like radio stations or like streaming, like editorial or all this shit to, like, you know, really cut out your success. Like third-party validation is great, but something you can't control and something you certainly can control or have much more control over is direct fan marketing. And
totally.
You go teach yourself how to do. And I think, you know, if you're on a small budget, then all you're really going to need is just that small budget for a little bit of ad spend. I mean, you don't have to spend astronomical amount of money every week. Like you can spend like $70 a week on like digital ads, like across some of those platforms, and get some really good results if you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? And again, if you don't know what you're doing, work it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, work it out.
You really want this, and you go work it out. And also the other thing too is that, like, the brilliant thing about that fan funnel is that, you know, you can eventually start to really monetize it as well. So you might start, you know, if you really want to build up that mailing list and getting people to sign up that, you start sending out to your mailing list like exclusive merch offers. Or if you just want to get people to just be buying merch from those ads, you can set up that can be your end goal as well. That's your conversion goal right at the end.
Yep.
Where, you know, you are like warming this audience right up, and you're like, we're doing exclusive run of t-shirts, only 50 ever made. And only for the next 7 days with 25% off, blah, blah, blah. All your typical sales tricks, all that. But again, it's just more so just keeping in mind about like warming these people up, making sure that you're giving them things like maybe even if it's not, you don't have the money to give away shirts or whatever, maybe you're giving away an exclusive video performance of a song if they sign up to the mailing list, you know what I mean?
Or a remix. Exactly. Acoustic version, live version.
100%. There's so much you can do. You just got to get creative, you know?
You got being creative. Do you know what? That's actually a really good point. And one thing that the entrepreneur guys talk about a lot, like the thing about artists, like, because there's always this division with artists, like my artist brain and my business brain. And like they kind of feel like they have to be two different things. But like the entrepreneur guys talk a lot about this, like using your creative brain in your marketing, like, you know, thinking outside of the box, thinking of ways that are going to communicate you and what you represent and your music to your fans in a way that not everyone else is doing. Like one thing, I mean, this is not a big idea at all, but one thing that I'm doing, I have a release coming out on Friday. And one thing I'm going to do tomorrow is to get people to pre-save the song. I went and minted 50 NFTs. I've never done an NFT, but I went and minted 50 NFTs of the song. So they're on the blockchain, and I'm going to give 50 away. I probably won't get that many, you know, people who are keen, but it's at least something that's a little bit interesting. It involves some of my interests, like Web3. It involves kind of like things that I'm kind of curious about, and also it might engage some of my fans on a different level. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, hey guys, I'm going to give these away. They're yours forever. They're unique. They're not, you know, fungible, and it's yours to own, and that's it. And all you have to do is pre-save this song.
Awesome, brother. That's great. That's just that kind of shit, and being proactive is the kind of stuff that helps you create these fans who are going to be super loyal. And at the end of the day, the best promoters are fans.
Oh, that's such a good point.
Yeah,
that's such a good point. Super
the
fans.
relationship between artists and fans is the most important thing. Like I said, third-party validation is great, but the most important thing at the end of the day is a relationship between artists and fans. You need to treat fans like royalty. That's another promo clip, yeah?
that honestly will be. I'm definitely going to, because, they if you treat them right, they will be your biggest champions. They will fucking go shout your name from the rooftop.
Yeah. Do you want another? I've got another zinger for you. All right, you ready?
Give it to me.
So you need to be first, best, or different.
First, best, or different. I like that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. First, as in like a thought leader or a trendsetter.
Yeah. Like you are the first.
Different, stand out from the crowd.
Oh, there you go. Boom.
Yeah. Boom. Done. There's my 3 clips.
You're the best dude that ever did hip hop, or you're the dude that did hip hop differently. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think anyone's out rapping Eminem, so you got to come up with a different way to approach hip hop, I think.
Definitely. That's right.
Yeah. Beauty. All right. Just this one. I just want a little bit of a thought from you on this one idea.
Sure.
And then I think I'll let you go. So just in terms of what's that?
It's been good. I've enjoyed it.
Yes, it's been amazing considering how we started.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to happen at all, but like we're here still like a solid 2 hours later. And we haven't even talked that much about Parramatta. So which is one thing that I was like, shit, I don't want to talk too much about Parramatta.
I don't want to talk about it this week. Maybe we can do another one of these at the grand final at the end of the year, right? When we're lifting the trophy.
Well, once Parramatta win the premiership, maybe we'll live stream our next chat from the be nice. So I guess it's one thing that I am conscious of, or I guess it's not actually, I'm probably not conscious of it, is when you're making music and you're having to wear all these hats, like as an independent artist, solo, you don't have a manager, whatever. The idea of like, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but the idea of like, I'm writing and releasing songs now, but also I need to be thinking about, the future, like, in 6 months releasing an album, then going on a tour. As an artist manager, how much of your brain is getting split between those two ideas, like managing the day-to-day affairs now and also the forward planning, budgeting, like what are we going to look like at the end of next year and, whatever?
I don't know. I think it's something that I'm probably in a fortunate position that because I do it every day, it just comes really naturally to me. But I can understand why, it's super challenging because it is still. But I'd say that, look, in terms of like how I work with each of our artists on like strategy and planning, it's always different for each act. But for the most part, like we just feel it out, man. Like there's no like we just kind of follow what our gut instinct is and just let the art like and ideas lead. You know what I mean? So like with Bootleg Rascal, for example, like they're a band that like largely rely on their live activity to really help have their story lift. And when that was taken away from us, like, and all artists, but like talking about them, when that was taken away from them throughout the COVID period, we really had to rethink our whole like release strategy because if essentially we're going to have our third studio album come out with a couple of singles that came out before it in 2020. But yeah, because of COVID and it threw all our live plans out the window, like, and a lot of them too. I mean, like we had around like 60 or 70 shows like kind of lined up, like,
holy dooly,
Australia and New Zealand, but also Europe and UK. And, we're talking about, going back to the North America as well. And we had all this like amazing shit happening. And then it was just like, woof, like, as it did for everyone. And so basically we're like, well, hang on, if we put out this album, we're not going to have the live vehicle there to really help bolster it all. So we were like, okay, what are we going to do? We don't want to just sit around and do nothing. So basically what we had, like, I think 5 songs in the bank for the album, like just ones that were long listed that were kind of good to, like, pretty much in their final mixing stages. And so we were like, fuck it, let's just put these out like month on month while we're waiting for COVID to kind of finish. And we're like, it'll be done by September at the end of the year, surely. So
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, like, we just started dropping a track every month because we couldn't tour of these songs, and we just repackaged the release itself as being an EP, and it was essentially. Okay. Would we, if some of these songs, seen the light of day? If it wasn't for COVID, probably not. But we'll just like, fuck it, let's just put them out. It's better than sitting around.
But you had to pivot. You had to do something.
Yeah. So we did that, and then also, like, we're like, again, like, just going on, like, fuck, this COVID shit's not going away anytime soon. We still don't want to put this studio album out, because if we put it out, it's just going to, well, not flop, but it just won't do as well as what it would if we don't have the tour dates there. So basically, we again, we're like, well, what's some other conceptual stuff we can do? And then I came up with, we're just discussing, what we can do that's not just all originals. I was like, hey, how about we do, like, because we were talking about doing a couple of new songs, though, like a few singles, like with some features. And I said, why don't we do like something like, with the theme of something borrowed, something new, like something blue. What that bloody saying is?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah. And so then we're like, yeah, cool. I said, all right, so we'll do like these. How about we do like the reimagine, like, get some of your like fan favorite songs and reimagine them, like do like different treatments on them. We can do like songs in Spanish.
I like that.
Carroll, cool. Chilean heritage, and he speaks Spanish as well. And so basically we did that, and we also did like, real heavy like reggae dub treatments to some of the songs. Like we did like, like electronic remixes. We did like acoustic versions. Like we just did all these like, different renditions of like some of the earlier material, and then just put it on this new album alongside 2 new songs that had some features like from some pretty cool acts as well. So and again, that was, we dropped 4 singles in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like over the course of 4 months, and then straight into the album. And that's what kind of comes back to helping with our like DSP strategy, like just firing that algorithm, keeping that going. But yeah, for the most part, like my point is that like that was just adaptation to what was happening at the time, and that was just going with our gut. We're just like, what can we do? And then we're like, cool. When we dropped a track a month, like back with the EP, when all the shit was first going down, and we abolished a 3rd album idea, or at least put it on the shelf, that seemed to work really well. So that kind of helped us carve out the plan with the
plan. Yeah.
So in 2021, we just started dropping that album, like 1 track, 2 track, 3 track, 4 track, and then the focus track and the album all came out on the 5th month. And again, it just ended up like feeling really natural, and like, considering the circumstances. And I think that, and now like we're looking at our release timeline with Bootleg, and we're kind of like, you know what, fuck it. We're not going to like rush out and go release some more shit. We just released a whole bunch of stuff, and now we can go play shows. We're going to go play some fucking shows. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're going to make up for lost time there. And simultaneously, we are working on the next album now, like going back to that, being like, all right, cool. We can pick up
the 3rd. Right. Okay.
Or the 3rd, proper
studio album
of originals. So, basically, it's just we're like, we figure that it's now the time to get out there and take advantage of playing as many shows as we can, make as much money as we can, but also like, we've got a big catalog, like what we released throughout COVID. So we're not feeling like we're in a rush to do anything. There may be an arena tour that we might be jumping on mid-year. I can't reveal what that is yet, but
maybe.
If we do get that tour, we will be dropping a new single just before that, because obviously, and again, like, that's the thing, you just got to be flexible, like, and
so okay, what I'm kind of hearing is like you do have some stuff in the bank, you do have some stuff planned, but you also have enough flexibility around the plan, to be a bit reactive and kind of fluid with the, whatever the market conditions throw at you. Or, let's just say a pandemic, someone throws a pandemic at your face, being, okay. I hear what you're saying. So
Yeah.
you got to have a little bit of an eye on the future as to kind of a bit of pre-planning, some songs in the bank,
Yeah.
a bit of an idea of when you might want to tour, but also, you need that fluidity to be able to adapt.
Exactly. Here's the thing, like, again, like we don't give a shit about racing out there to release more music. However, if we get this arena tour, then yes, it's a different story. We're like, well, we'll be fucking insane not to drop at least a new single. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. No, it's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. But basically our whole goal this year is to get out there, play as live as much as we can, and just work on the next album. And then the whole idea is we just want to get all our ducks in a row so that when it does come to starting the album cycle next year, it's like we not only all the songs are done, but we want all the like music videos, we want all the artwork, we want all the press shots, we want all the touring plans like ready to go for next year, and also all the additional content like coming up, all the skits of videos and things like that all the fun and silly stuff that Bootleg Rascal do that their audience loves. Like we're going to have all that shit ready so that when we start that album cycle, we don't break any momentum. It's like there's something happening. You know what I mean? Boom.
Yeah, totally.
Boom.
In a way, it's kind of a blessing in disguise that, COVID has worked out the way it has for you guys, because now you get to just tour like this whole year whilst you plan for that third studio album anyway.
Yeah.
So then when you actually start that studio cycle, you will be able to just go bang, 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 bang.
Make lemonade out of lemons, baby.
Yeah, that's it. Do you know what, Rob?
Yeah,
that feels like a very nice way to finish.
I think so.
I feel like that feels like a really nice way to finish.
Yeah, cool.
Dude, this has been epic. I really appreciate
you having me.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate your time. You've given me a lot of insights. Cool. We've taken some turns that I didn't think we were going to take, but I'm glad we took them. Yeah. And I reckon we've got to do this again another time. Maybe towards the end of this year. Yeah,
I think it'd be good to reflect on everything we chatted about and see where I've got to. And I don't know, maybe there's even like you tell me, but a bit of scope for some participation for, maybe some aspiring managers or artists or something, I don't know.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I think that's what I kind of want this platform to be anyway. So let's definitely talk about it.
Dial in another video there. There we go. We have a third person. Boom.
Get him in there. Yeah. Q&A. I think we can definitely do something like that.
Sounds good, brother. Awesome. Oh, well, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you also being patient, waiting for me. I've just been so bloody busy, but no, it's good.
No, I was ready to pull the trigger when you were ready. I was always keen to chat to you. So I'm glad that you got back to me. Thank you.
Brother. All right. Thanks so much, man. I'll hang on just so I don't fuck this up. So
you just hit
stop recording.
Wait, don't hit end record yet.
Okay.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Civilian. This is Rob Carroll. We've just been speaking about all the goodness that is music industry. I'll see you guys next week on Slaaap Haaapy. Keep slapping and
do it like this all day. Hey, don't stop. Inhibitions run away. Hey, don't stop. Let a bug hit windshield. Scrape those off. My team running up.